Hello. I want to talk to you about money. Money is something that we don't tend to like to talk about, but it's something that we're always thinking about, and it's something that is definitely present in all of our lives, and it very much dictates a lot of our culture, our livelihood, our career, and as big as money as in our lives, again, we tend not to talk about it a lot. But today, let's start that conversation. This is a safe place to talk about money because we're talking about manifesting. And generally, when people start talking about manifesting and abundance, the big thing that comes to our mind is money. Now, money isn't typically the root of what we want. Money is what we feel like we need to get what we really, really want. However, most of us don't have the best relationship with money, and we're just expecting that we're going to start thinking about money, or we're going to start trying to manifest it, and it's just going to come to us without having to go through all that trouble of dealing with what the relationship looks like. It's like saying that you want to have a great relationship with your partner, but you don't want to work through all of the problems. That's not going to happen. You do need to have a conversation about the problems. Otherwise, those problems are going to keep presenting themselves until there is a lesson that is learned. Now, we can work on our healing and we can rise up, we can elevate our perspective, and suddenly we see things different and we react different. But let's really dive in today talking about our relationship with money. Now, most of us are probably in the spot where we're wanting more money. I doubt any of us are in a spot where we're wanting less of it. A lot of people, when we talk about money, and talking about wanting more money, that instantly starts to bring on some guilt or shame. So if talking about wanting more money brings some guilt or shame for you, I want you to drop a comment down below. So if you feel guilt or shame about wanting more money, then drop a comment down below. Now, if you don't feel any guilt or shame about wanting more money, then I want to know that too, because that doesn't mean that it's necessarily true. And so I want to tell you a story. So I was starting on my spiritual path to healing my relationship with money, but it was really down to improving my relationship with my ability to take care of myself. My ability to take care of myself. I had always been dependent, or not always, but for a very long time, I'd been dependent on my partner for that money. And I would be able to earn enough money to get the things that I wanted. But when it really came to paying the bills, choosing where to live, all of that, I was really, really strapped to whatever they wanted. And it wasn't because we were a partnership. It was because it was his money. And that's a whole nother story. But I really wanted to get myself into a place where I could afford to take care of myself. And in that particular circumstance, it was I was leaving. And then it was I have left. And I really need to get myself in a position where I'm not living, not even paycheck to paycheck. I was living far worse than paycheck to paycheck. I was skipping meals. I didn't have money to do the most basic things, let alone pay bills. So I was living in the back room at my mom's house, and I really needed to find a way to make myself make money, whether it be finding a better job or I was doing some side work and trying to get more clients and things of that nature. And it really hit me one day. I was driving, and I don't know about you, but a lot of revelations come to me when I'm driving. And it's because we're activating a different portion of our brain when we are driving. We go on autopilot, but there can also be a creative process. And so I kept asking myself, like, why is it that I'm struggling? What is this block that's really, really preventing me? And what really has to happen is you have to imagine yourself wealthy and imagine that life. And if there's anything aside from love and joy that's coming up, those emotions really need to be explored. And what came up for me was I was really scared to lose the government insurance that my kids and I were on. And I was scared if I made too much, I would no longer qualify for that. And I felt like that insurance was the best insurance. Therefore, I didn't want to lose it. Another feeling that came up was that I wouldn't have the same support, that people wouldn't see me the same, that maybe people wouldn't want to help me out because I was getting some help from people and I was getting some attention. And I didn't want to lose that I felt like not having money was bringing me closer to certain people in my family. Of course, that eventually changed. And then the fear changed to, I fear if I have money, I'm going to have to give it to my family, that they're going to request it, that they're going to expect more from me, and then I'm going to be spending money, all my money on them. So a lot of these different fears were really starting to show up. And I really had to work through those to realize that I was in a fear response. I was in lack mindset. And what I wanted to get myself out of that and into was that I have so much money that it's easy for me to help my friends and family, that it is no problem to pay for my own insurance and pay for whatever bills that come about, that is so insignificant because my money priorities and my relationship money would support me, that energy would support me. But I also had to put in check once I finally did start getting money, which was beautiful. I would get this money that I would manifest. So I would easily start getting, once I got into manifest mode, which we'll talk about later, I really did start to manifest like $10,000. I started manifesting $10,000 randomly throughout this time span. And every time I would get this $10,000, it would easily get blown. I mean, it would like disappear. And I didn't know where all my money was going. It was like I was eating out and I was shopping and I was doing all these things that I wanted to do. And the problem is that I was so relieved to finally have it that I then wasn't putting intention and purpose behind where it was going. And I also wasn't ensuring that more was coming in. I got so focused on getting that lump sum that I didn't focus on having that continual flow. So it was like I released the block, it came in, I created another block, and I drained my container that I had. So there's a couple different things that I'm bringing up here that obviously I cannot explore all in this one video. It's multiple conversations. But just to let you know that your relationship with money is far more complex than just saying, I'm gonna get this money, I'm gonna make it happen. Because you can. And it may cause some instant fixes, but if you haven't really solved your relationship with money and energy, and that's where I'm going with next, with your energy, then you're going to be in this constant, like, oh, I'm trying to recover. Oh, I've gotten there. And then I'm plummeting back down. And this relationship is going to keep going up and down, up and down, up and down. When what we really want it is a steady climb. And then maybe plateauing up at the top is not a problem, right? And then having this slow increase here and there. And then keeping, if we have any waivers, they're way up here and they're very tiny, instead of having these big plummets, which feels like a roller coaster ride. So I want you to get off the roller coaster ride if you're there. If you're not there yet and you're like, oh, I would love to have that roller coaster ride, then also taking that time to really explore, like, what are your fears of having wealth? How do you fear that life will change? How do you really want life to change? And some of it is just struggling has become everything that we know, that we would feel guilty if we weren't struggling, because that's the only way that we've ever known. And that we want people to feel sorry for us. We want people to take care of us. And we feel like we would lose that quality, those relationships, if we were to really improve that relationship with money. So I want you to dive into that. I want you to message me if you don't feel comfortable typing it into the group. I am a therapist, so whatever we talk about will be confidential. If you do want to comment, I really recommend commenting, because everyone in this group is really working on abundance and manifestation, and this should be a safe zone, and it can help inspire them to go, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. So be sure to leave a comment. Be sure to really think about this and see if any of that rang true for you as well.